Hi, this is Jaye Ancruem with this week's episode of Mental Health Minute, and let's take a minute or so to talk about mental health.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Mental Health Minute with Jay. And on this week, we'll be talking about the difference between being busy and being productive. And I think this is something that many of us struggle with, especially when you're in a situation where you're working from home. You can actually find yourself being even busier than you anticipated. I think it's definitely a misconception that because you're working from home, you're on your own schedule, you kind of get to, you know, control how much you actually take on. But sometimes the opposite ends up happening. And people come to rely on the fact that because you're working from home, that you're accessible. You're accessible 24/7 because technically you have no office, so to speak, and no office hours offsite. So they try to reach you at various times. And that's why it's important for us to make sure that we're setting clear boundaries. And one way to set a clear boundary is to know exactly what your purpose is and what your role is, whether it's your own business or whatever venture that you take on, even in ministry. You have to be really clear about what your purpose is and what you've been called to do, and for any work at home business, what your job is and what your role is, and stay within those boundaries, and not take on too many things. And I have been guilty of this, taking on so many things, and even going as far as calling myself a multitasker, when there has also been research and studies that prove that multitasking is a myth, and it is almost impossible for us to be effective multitaskers. You've even heard the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. When we have a tendency to take on so many things, you just become less effective at one individual thing. So it's always important to make sure that you do some self-checks along the way, and make sure that you're not just staying busy, but you're staying productive. The Bible talks about knowing men by their fruit. What is fruit? When you look at a tree that produces fruit, it's what's produced. It's what that end result is. And if we're not actually reaching our end results, we are not being fruitful, and we're just busy. And you always have to be careful with being busy, because being busy and getting things done can come with a false sense of accomplishment. You think just because you're doing things that you're in line with your purpose and you're in line with your goals, and you may actually be off course. So it's always important to do those self-checks. So ask yourself on today, am I busy or am I being productive?
Hi, thank you for joining us this week for this week's Mental Health Minute. We hope that you walk away feeling educated, empowered, and supported, and we hope that you join us next time for Mental Health Minute. Thank you.